job, that's all.
I didn't think you would lie to me, Mary.
What do you mean, Jeanne?
You promised me that you weren't using me. But the only reason you pretended to like me was to make more money for your rich friends.
That's not fair.
I thought you cared about me, but you betrayed me.
But, Jeanne,
Pierre was right. The Brunswick girls really don't care about us.
Jeanne.
This article in the Telegraph, Charlotte. The mule spinners have struck.
Oh my, poor Benjamin. Well, at the very least, he has given Mary a good experience.
I'm afraid she doesn't see it that way. She's been devastated ever since the mill closed.
Poor girl. She tried her hardest.
Yes, there's no way she could have persuaded those ignorant workers to do anything else. They just don't know what's good for them.
Thomas, I think it would be a good idea if we bring her home. If the strike has already happened, there isn't much she can do to help Benjamin.
You're right, Charlotte. I think she'll be happy to hear the news. She never wanted to go into the mill in the first place. Good afternoon, Mary.
Good afternoon, Father.
We're sorry about what happened at the mill.
Sorry? For what?
You weren't able to prevent the strike.
Oh, that. Well, I know I'll do better next time.
There won't be a next time, Mary.
What do you mean? But Mr. Green needs me. I promised
The strike
him.
has already occurred, Mary. Any damage is irrevocable.
It wasn't your fault, Mary.
But, Mother, I can't leave that mill. It's my whole life now.
Why can't you go back to that mill, Mary?
Well, I mean, Mr. Green, the management, everybody.
Your family needs you too, Mary.
Yes, the best way you can help the family is by staying out of the mill and marrying well in a few years.
I'm sorry, Father, but I really can't leave that mill.
I knew it was a mistake to send her in there. It's ruined her for polite society.
It hasn't ruined me in the least, Father.
I don't care to discuss this with you any further, Mary. You may go to your room and come down when you're ready to be late.
Job.
None of this would have happened if they had been content with the place God had given them.
And now we'll have to suffer for it by getting our pay docked.
It can't be that bad. Once he hears about it in Boston, Mr. Freeland will force Mr. Green to reopen. People need our cloth.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. They might think the workers here are too dangerous to keep the mill open.
We're finally getting somewhere. Soon the bosses will have to see that we won't work unless we get the pay we deserve.
How can you be so sure the mill will reopen?
Well, we can't be sure, but at least we aren't sitting around doing nothing anymore. At least we might get a raise.
Well, do you know what? I might lose my job, too.
It's selfish workers like you that give the rest of us a bad name.
I'm sorry, Uncle Gerard, but we can't just let them step all over us. We have to fight back. Jeanne, that's these spots.
Oh, there is on here. Mary is using us.
Try to forget her. There's lots of honest cubic clause for you friends. One's meant to work hard for a living.
It won't be the same.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Jeanne, but life's going to improve for us. You'll see.
I wanted to believe she was my friend.
Let's go in for supper. It'll help take your mind off the
to us, coming in here and pretending to be friendly when all the time she's reporting everything to Mr. Green.
Well, she had good intentions to try and prevent the strike.
I'm glad the mule spinner struck. They'll finally get a fair wage for a change.
They could have lost their jobs, though.
The point is she went behind our backs.
What do you say, Jeanne? That she'd hope we take her into our confidence if she pretended to support the strikers?
Yes, and I almost did.
It's no more than I'd expect from a rich girl.
Yes, you can't trust the rich. All they want to do is protect their money.
I don't suppose she's working here anymore.
Not working here?
Probably her parents wouldn't let her. Thought it was too dangerous to be around the strikers. As if they'd hurt someone like her.
Why do you care so much about whether she's still here, Jeanne? She's a cheat.
You're right, Michelle. I don't care. Well, I have to be off to supper. What are you doing here? Spying on us again?
Jeanne, I'm sorry I was helping Mr. Green, but I don't care about him anymore. Can't we just be friends?
You apologized once, Mary, and then you went back on your word. Why should I believe you this time?
I don't know. You'll just have to trust me.
You've hurt me terribly, Mary. I'm afraid I can't forgive you.
But Jeanne,
Go sit in the parlor where you belong.
What are you working on, Mary?
Just a letter
To whom?
to Elizabeth Boyle. She's in Europe now.
It's nice that you're keeping up with correspondence with your classmates.
You've been writing quite a bit lately, Mary. I saw ink spots on your embroidery today, though. Please try and be more careful.
I will, Mother. But just think of how much easier it is to keep my hands clean with one of these new fountain pens.
Yes, it's certainly an improvement.
Charlotte, we've been invited to a dinner party on Saturday.
I think we should be able to go.
There's a stain on the horsehair sofa in the drawing room, ma'am.
I'll come look at it. Yes, it exposes the way we're treated, and about the housing conditions.
You're right. Maybe now Mr. Cabot will think about putting aside some money for a new sewer.
An article about the mill?
Yes.
Who wrote it?
It says Mary Cunningham.
Jeanne, what is it?
Mary Cunningham.
What about her?
She wasn't using us.
I still don't understand.
Oh, I suppose you wouldn't know her last name. Mary Cunningham is the rich girl who left after the strike.
Then why did you tell Mr. Green she was misleading us?
I don't know.
Come in, Mary.
Sir, I have to talk to you.
Do your parents know you're here?
No, sir, but...
You ought to be more careful. Do you know? This wasn't with your parents' approval, was it?
What do you mean, sir?
Do you know what you've just done? Now every gullible reader of Harper's will think I'm a cold-hearted skinflint. If you cared at all about your friends, you would have...
That's just it. Jean Cabot is my friend, not you. You're my father's friend. I don't know why I ever agreed to work with you in the first place.
Mary, come back here.
John,
I read about your article, Mary. I'm sorry I thought you were using us. I guess you really did care about me after all.
I'm sorry too, Jean. I really should have explained.
Yes. Why did you tell Mr. Green that you were deceiving us?
Mr. Green is my father's friend. He begged my father to let me work for the Cabot Manufacturing Company as a spy to, prevent the strike.
But you didn't want to?
Well, I mean, I did at first, but then I changed my mind. When Mr. Green called me into his office right after the strike, I had to say whatever I could to make sure that he wouldn't fire us. Otherwise, I knew I might never see you again.
But you won't now.
No, I will. I don't care what my parents say anymore.
They probably won't be too happy about your article.
Well, I'm going to keep writing. That's the only way I can help ensure our lives.
Perhaps you'd like to focus on the boarding houses for your next article. You could come home with me right now and take notes.
I think I will.